Hey everyone, this is James, the Ghost Set Killers Put 'em on the Glass podcast, and this I'm being illuminated by gold right now. I have a gold halo just all around me because we have the CSR and calibration gold medalist Kenneth White in the house. We have
Hey,
the WRO gold medalist Bradley Adelot in the house, and we have my jam, the AGTO gold medalist for 2025, Raul Placencia in the house. So I feel like
What's
I'm
up,
like
boys?
surrounded by greatness. I feel like I had this is how people had to feel when they walked in the same room with like Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, you know? so, so this is an industry we all love, and we've all poured everything we had into it. So basically, we're going to have a conversation, get some feedback on what Auto Glass Week was like. As of being, what, 2 days old, you guys probably don't know how you actually feel about it yet, and are going to see how it changes your lives and makes everything you do better. But Kenneth, let's start with you.
yeah,
What was your Auto Glass Week like with the winning and just prior to the winning? What was your Auto Glass Week like?
it was awesome. I brought my wife and daughters. We decided to come down, do Tahoe before Auto Glass Week, so we just had a little break, relaxed. That's always super nice, just getting away and spending time with them. And then going into the actual Auto Glass Week, I was competing in three different competitions. Um, and man, just I got to say, I really enjoyed Reno. I enjoyed the convention center. I thought it was great. Yeah, everything was right there, was super easy. And then just getting to see everybody again, because we got friends from all over the country. So getting to see people, talk to people, that was really nice. And it just kind of re-energizes you, refocuses you. And for me, I love it. It was great.
Awesome. What about you, Mr. A Lot? We can't hear you. You need to pull down your.
Sorry,
There you
oh,
go.
sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, I got out a little bit early, and we decided just to chill, do kind of what Kenneth did. I have been competing for this is my fourth year, but I've only ever done just WRO. I'm just my brain doesn't work. I can't just do multi platforms, man. I'll spin out. But so we had a break. The year before last year, I did not do well in the competition, and I attributed that. I think I exhausted myself before. So like we went to Universal Studios and Disney World right before, and then the day before the show opened, we sent them home with the grandparents, and we just stayed to compete. And I think I was just run down, but I intentionally didn't involve myself in the evening stuff as much as probably other competitors might have, but I just got to focus. My brain works a certain way, but there certainly was a ton of extracurricular stuff to do, which that's what I'm about too. I love seeing the show floor, but I love just going and hanging out with my homies and finding out what's going on in their lives. See what other parts that we can be similar in other ways, in addition to Auto Glass. I love that aspect to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Raul, how was your week?
It was awesome. I didn't get to enjoy Auto Glass Week as much as I wanted to. I didn't get to go out with anyone. I felt so bad having to reject like going out with DuPont, also Glasswell, and to the Kaizen party, the '90s party. I really wanted to go, but my mind was fully focused on just preparing in competition. So, yeah, my guys are troopers too because they stayed with me and we practiced until we couldn't practice anymore. So.
Well, I
It's
don't
awesome.
think that that is such an odd thing because pretty much every year, even the years I didn't win and the year I placed, the years I did not, but I have a certain way that I compete at things. And even though I want to lift my competition up, I have imposter syndrome. So for me to be around the competitors outside of it and see how they're interacting with everyone around them at all the parties and how they're carrying themselves, and then I start getting in my head a little bit. So for me to
Hmm.
compete very well at something, be very focused in and try to win, I have to stay within and
Yeah.
within my group. Like I have like my wife, and when I was competing in other things, I'd have my teammates or people that were helping me, because of the fact that if I seen them, I started thinking about them, and then I started thinking about all the ways I didn't measure up to them, whether it be personality or skill set. And so
Yeah.
I beat myself before I even walked onto the floor. So much respect to you guys for doing that and finding your inner. Like, I'm sure everybody understood and everybody respected, especially since you came out with gold. So I'm glad you guys are enjoyed the week your own ways. That makes it nice. But moving forward, what was the biggest hurdle of the week? We all had those little, every time we competed, the little like uh-ohs or oh fucks, like or damn. What was your biggest hurdle? Let's start with Bradley this time. We'll go Bradley, Raul, and then finish with you, Kenneth.
There was two that stick out in my mind, and one of them you were directly responsible for.
Well, let's hear them.
You've got the worst timing and the worst tone, but I'm glad that you do. It worked out well. The first one was actually they both happened within minutes of each other too. Imagine that. I was just talking about my mental state and how I must protect it a certain way. Well, anyway, so the finals before the finals started, it was I got all my tools out and I greeted my proctor, and then I started to go over to get the VIN number off the car, which I would do in the past in previous WRO heats. Now in the AGTO competition, I don't think you can pick up anything until the time's called, I think. And that's what you brought over, and you were like, and when I started to pick it up and walk to the car and look at it, I hear, Bradley, put your pin down. And I was just like, because I don't think I'd done anything differently than I've always done in the prep time. I'd always done at least that, get the VIN number. And then I saw the judges looking at me, and I was like, what have I done? I was like, what? But it turns out, I think that's definitely a hard rule in the AGTO, but I've never heard it said that we couldn't do it. And I've never been explained to put that down before. So I was just ignorant about it. And so, but later on thinking about it, I think that is probably a good rule to have in place. Is just prep time is just, you can interact with your table and no one or nothing else. So, maybe that, I'm sorry if I made that a rule in the future.
One second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I did it because,
But
Raul, correct me if I'm wrong, because you and I have competed multiple times in the AGTO. Tool prep time is simply that. You're prepping your tools, setting your table. You're not allowed talking to your proctor. You're not allowed taking any information off of the car. You're not allowed to look over the car for pre-inspection. You're basically setting your tools up to where you walk on. So I see him doing that, and in fairness, I was like, no. You're not getting a head start. You're not going to run. No. So I start yelling at him, and then I don't think it was actually a roll because I've never competed at WRO. So if I set you back and cost you some points or some time because of that, I apologize. But yeah, I was like, no, I know we're friends, but no, motherfucker, we got to be fair. This ain't happening.
So that was a sticking point that I had to get over. And then later on in the final round, I was using a tool it's a Vibe that Glasswell made, and it helps to actually use cymatics, which is sound shaping movement in interaction with other mediums in the world. Like for instance, if you ever put a bunch of salt crystals on a certain type of speaker and turned a certain frequency on, they would take shape according to whatever frequency that was. So this tool uses that, and it actually uses it to shape air to be more quickly absorbed by the resin so it can move through it and be stored in the pressure chamber. So I was using that, and it was going, but when I shoved it, I manipulated a certain way, and it lifted my injector mount off the glass a little, and resin blew down. So I lost pressure, vital pressure that I was needing to push into the brake. So I had to reload my tool on that. But all that turned out great. We don't lose points if something like that happens. If anything, if a judge saw it, maybe they're like, hey, he cleared that up pretty well and pretty quickly and pretty thoroughly. So, so those were the two things. So the issue with me, with the pen, and then the leak on it. But I was asking the judges later, and I was like, I think I would have had a perfect score if this thing, and I was like, well, was it the brake type on my invoice? And this judge was like, no, you forgot to record the dot number. And I was like, oh, I did. I was like, oh, because I was stopped from doing it during the prep time. Yeah, I was stuck. Yeah, I was like, so thanks, James. Appreciate it, bud. My perfect score gone.
Yeah. What about you, Raul? What about you? Did you have any of those moments, or were you just in the zone?
Man, I got 3 different hiccups in 3 different situations and also in our Airbnb.
Oh,
So our Airbnb was having problem with the internet, and then the internet that we were using from our tablet wasn't properly connecting to the devices. So, but I always take a printer with me every year wherever we compete, like in case I need to print out paperwork. Um,
mhm.
so I was having a hiccup with that. My biggest one with the calibration was that, like I was sharing with Kenneth, I believe I was sharing with you that the identification from the VCI and the tablet wasn't connecting properly. So it showed it was connecting to 5 different devices. So that definitely messed me up in the calibration competition. In the windshield repair competition, my injector bridge released 3 times. So I had to use 2 different methods of, getting it to work. So that's why when they say, guys, double check your tools before you take them with you, I was so confident because I use them every day. They failed me, so I can see where the points kind of, went bad there. And then in the replacement competition, my vacuum started glitching during the final.
It
Yeah,
did.
like it.
It did. Oh,
Yeah, so I hit it, and then it just went, "Zoop," and it didn't turn off anymore until I took off the battery.
yeah. Sat
So
there, and it like it tipped over on its side at one point, but in all fairness, that finals was completely different than anything. But we're going to talk
yeah,
about that in a second. But what about you, Kenneth? Did you have any hiccups, brother?
Not really. I was talking about one hiccup before we started, and that was just a failure on my part, just lack of preparation on my part. So not realizing some things that I needed. And then luckily I was able to reach out to some different vendors, distributors, whoever, and get the things that I needed. So it all worked out. And then in the calibration competition, I was just using a little bit of a different setup than what I'm used to here at my shop. I was the only person using Launch Tech, and so it wasn't super different, but it's a little different. I'm definitely someone in the shop that has all my tools laid out a certain way, and you very much get in the flow of things. So then when something's a little off, it can kind of be a little tricky. But
yeah,
I would say for the most part, everything went fairly smoothly this week.
Okay.
So
Okay, so the reason why I brought the hiccups up, guys, is we've all heard the noise that everybody likes to bring. Oh, it's not real life scenario. This is just a dog and pony show. No, you know what? Bradley happened to overcome his whatever. Raul happened to come over his hiccups. These are all things that happen in real life. I mean, how many
yeah,
times have we had a repair bridge let loose?
Well,
Or how many times has our vacuums not shut off because of something or not started up when we have a whole rear hatch full of glass to clean up? You know what I mean? So like
yeah,
these are all things, and not only to mention that, you have 300 plus people watching you, scrutinizing you, going, well, I wouldn't have done it like that. Well, why is he doing it
hmm
like that? Well, why is it, you know what I mean? And then you have 4 judges just basically hounding you. And you have your proctor who you can't forget because they are an involved part of you can tell your customer to go in the house or sit out in the lobby most times. You can't do that with the proctor. So this is harder than real life. We want the best, so we test you guys to be the best. So that's the only reason why I was asking about the hiccups and everything.
I got to slide one more idea in there if you don't mind. As
Go ahead.
not only were we carrying this year's hiccups as they happened in the moment, we were carrying the previous year's hiccups,
Mm-hmm.
hoping to God that we did not remake those because
Mm-hmm.
there's plenty of those from the past. So yeah.
Yeah. So and then building on that real life scenario. So Raul, you're going to start with this one because we're going to kind of, go, hey, there's Nookie. Hey, what up, buddy?
Hey, what's
Hey.
up? This is Uncle James, and
Yeah.
this is Uncle Raul up there, and that's
No.
Uncle Kenneth.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, guess what? They got gold medals too, real quick. They got
Okay.
them too. All right,
All
let's
right.
go. Come.
All right. All right. So Raul, this year, they threw a curveball. And because when they told me to, oh yeah, Kenneth, I didn't get to announce yours by the way, but the two, you guys really did dig me announcing you guys like that, and to the crowd and making sure everybody heard me and everything. Was that something cool for you guys?
Oh yeah.
it was cool. It raises the hype. It's like pretty awesome.
All right, good. Because like
I
I
thought it
said,
was cool.
good. If you guys like that, make sure you're telling people.
Oh yeah.
because you have that they want to know those things, because if not, then probably won't happen again. But I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it because I thought it was cool to make, because that's what I wanted to happen during mine. But beside that, when they walked up to me and they said, "Hey, when you're announcing them, you need to say, Proctors, are you ready? Competitors, are you ready?" Then you need to stop, take a pause, and say, "Judges, are you ready?" And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "And then we're breaking the back glass." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And my pulse is quickening because I'm feeling for you guys. And I said, "Wait, are you guys going to extend the time?" And they were like, "Oh no, they still only get 80 minutes." I was like, "Whoa, to get all," I was like, "That's a Mazda CX-5. Both appliques have to come off, the rear spoiler and the lower applique." And then we're going to talk about something you did, Raul. So this is crazy. So Raul, what was your heart when you heard that? Douche, because that is real life.
Okay, so I was so entertained at the way that you were announcing it. I was like, dude, this is so cool the way he's announcing it. And then they're like, "Judges, are you ready?" And all I hear is psst, all four back glasses breaking. I turned around. I was like, this is gonna be fun. Yeah. So that was so epic. Like, I love that video that they posted. You announcing it, and then once the back glass shattered, you can hear everyone going. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, this is gonna be so intense. Like, good thing I'm a specialist on R&I work. This is gonna be cake.
Yeah, and as someone who was walking around trying to live stream, but it was the internet in that building was terrible. I didn't take a
Mhm.
hotspot, so it was because I did your whole spiel, Kenneth, and it did, and people were like, "Oh, can't go, Kenneth," but it was like there's no way they could see what you were doing because it was like all glitching in and out. But anyways,
Yeah.
Raul, so you got your rear applique off better than anybody else, and I'm like, he absolutely does body shop work. He knew how that thing come off because it was like so smooth. But then you stopped, and you got your proctor and got the judges. Why did you get the judges to come over to talk to you, sir?
So I inspected my vehicle when I was doing my pre-inspection. I noticed that mine had the surround view system all the way around, and I knew if I disconnected that it was gonna throw, codes on the dash. I was like, if I disconnect this, I know for a fact we don't have the all viewing mats for this Mazda. I was like, it's gonna definitely be trouble. So I paused it, let the judges know, or I let my proctor know if I can talk to a judge. The judge said, "You know what? Do what you think you would do in an outside scenario." I was like, oh man, this is tough because I would disconnect and then charge the customer for the calibration. But I was like, this is a competition. I can't do that. So I cleaned it up as best as I possibly could, and I took everything apart. So
This
that
is
was a
I was
challenge, but it was super fun.
Yes, like I'm standing there listening to this and watching this because as soon as he said surround view, because none of the rest of the vehicles had the surround view. None of the rest of the CX-5s, yours did. And
Yeah.
soon as you said that, I was like, yes, he caught it. Okay, okay, let's see how he does this. Let's see how he plays this off. And sure enough, everything you said was beat for beat the way I would explain it to a customer. You're right, you upsell it to like, hey, the insurance company, they're gonna have to pay for this surround view, blah 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 blah. That you knew the situation in the show, that you didn't have it. So that right there, for me was just like a super proud friend moment. Like, just like to see the skill set. And it's like he's going and he's throwing his cape around himself, and he's just like, okay, this thing's pretty heavy. I'm going to take it off and just set it over here, kind of thing. But dude, that was super awesome. So you want to talk about real life? Everybody out there, this isn't real life. Go give yourself to clean out the inside of a gate. Inside, and not only did Raul just clean out the inside, he cleaned out the spare tire hub. He
Took
cleaned out
everything off.
he took everything off. He cleaned everything up, and anybody who's cleaned up tempered. And also, I appreciated that you didn't walk in the tempered, and your car, I didn't have to walk in tempered when I near it because I hate walking in tempered glass. It's one of my biggest
Me
pet
too,
peeves.
man. It's my pet peeve.
Yes, so I was like super happy that you were sweeping it up and making sure you didn't walk in it or whatever. But try to do all that in an hour and 20 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, I could hear a lot of people because I was really close, like there was a lot of people near me and they were like, "Why are you cleaning it? It's gonna get dirty again." I was like, "Leave me alone," in my mind, like, you
Yeah.
guys don't
Yeah,
know,
because you
like if
can't,
the customer comes by and they slip, like then I'm screwed. Do you get me?
and you
Yeah.
can't talk to anybody on the outside because the minute you make any kind of talk to anybody else, you're disqualified. So
Yeah.
like you could hear those things, those chatter, because they don't shut off, and you can hear them, but you can't say anything.
Yeah.
So, Kenneth, was there any of those moments in your CSR or your calibration where you were just like, yeah, this is super tough, real world. I got to make a decision that I normally wouldn't make at home.
Um, a little bit in the CSR competition. So there's 3 different judges, and they all put you through different scenarios. The older gentleman, I think his name's Joel. Um, he made it very, very difficult. So he was kind of his customer was kind of a grouchy older guy, didn't really know anything that was going on with his car, didn't have the car in his possession, didn't have the VIN number. Um, I gave him the price, and he was, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other. So, but we do deal with those kinds of customers, not super often, but fairly often. So in the moment, you wanna speak quickly. You don't wanna take much time to think, so you're trying to be fluid and speak quickly, but then afterwards, you're like, "Oh, man, I should have said this, or I should have said that," or
Yeah.
whatever. So, in a real world setting, I maybe would have slowed myself down just a little bit and said, "Okay, hold on, let me think about this," or given some other options. But for competition's sake, it's like you're just trying to keep it flowing, you're trying to keep it, nothing awkward, no awkward silence. So, um but otherwise, in the CSR competition, man, last year I was so nervous. This year I just went up there and, I won it last year, so I didn't really have anything to lose this year. So I went up there and just kind of immediately, made a little joke, and it just kind of helped me to like relax. And then from there, it was like, there again, I was just doing my thing. So, um, I feel like in the CSR thing, they trying to make you look a little foolish, like they're trying to trip you up. So it's obviously you've got that fear in the back of your mind, but so much of it is muscle memory too, that you get this question or this objective or objection or whatever, you just like, okay, I'm going down this path. So um yeah, for the most part, it wasn't bad. Calibration, um that was my first time competing in calibration. So just once I got out there trying to decipher like, okay, what can I do? What can I not do? I was confused on the repair side. Like, can I talk to my proctor during the setup time? So I was kind of like treading lightly of, hey, I'm setting up my stuff, but I see everybody else talking to their proctor. So I'm going to go ahead and say hi to you and introduce myself. But then, like, when the competition starts, then I'm going to have to come back to you and reintroduce myself to you and start checking the boxes. So, a little bit of that, just being a first timer in those 2 competitions, kind of a little unsure of what I could do and what I couldn't do. Um,
Mhm.
that was really the only other thing that tripped me
Yeah.
up just a little bit.
So I'm going to paint the picture for our listeners here. Picture yourself. You're on a stage with a curtain separating you from your supposed customers. The
Hmm.
spotlight's all on you. You're elevated above the people on the floor. So it's like you're performing your own little rock concert. So
Hmm.
like in the lights are shining on you and you can see everybody like with what I did in the AGTO and Raul and maybe same for Bradley and maybe you when he was competing in calibration, you get lost in the work because of the fact that you're working on something you have to have focus on. When you're on that stage and you look up, was it ever that second grade spelling bee moment where you're just like, because you've seen everybody just staring at you?
Last year, a lot more. This year, I was pretty chill, man. Like I said, I went up, they make you say a fake shop name and a fake, like your fake name. So I ran with the Reno 911
I love
glass.
that. I love
And
that.
I said, "This is Lieutenant Jim
Jim
Dangle. What is
Dangle.
your emergency?" So just kind of put it out there, and I saw you and I saw like Glenn Fell was like, yes. So from there I was like, okay, I got the people on my side. I cracked a little joke. We're good. And I was telling my fellow competitors, it's like, even though we're out in the middle, the folks that are there that are paying attention to us, they're friends, family, maybe people that are curious about CSR. But for the most part, even though we're out in the middle, it was still just it still wasn't that big, I guess, for me at least. And I've gotten the last 5 years where I'm doing a lot more public speaking and a lot more, just interaction. And I will say this, one of the main reasons that I transitioned from the CSR to calibration and repair, and even maybe eventually the replacement competition, so much about it is that customer service and how you
Mhm.
talk to your customer and how you explain things. So if that's something that you have a strength in, man, that's a strength. And, being good at repair is not going to help you in calibration, replacement, or CSR. But being a good CSR and having that, being well spoken and just having a love for people, man, that goes through all four competitions. So it's huge for sure.
Yeah. So Bradley, other than
So
my tripping you up and,
yeah, man.
you had the covers, you had all of your decked out, and we all have that. You don't do that every day on every car. You don't do that every day. You don't.
Sure.
So what was your real life moment that was like, okay, yeah, I do this. This is what I do.
Yeah. In the finals again, the heat. Something I'll tell you about the heats. The heats this year, all the people going from the heats to the finals had perfect scores. All four. We were looking at each other. We're like, oh my goodness, this is awful. So the heats were pretty straightforward for me this year. But the finals, my proctor role played as soon as I walked up and said, "Hi, I'm Brad with the Glass Monkey." He just role played belligerency. He was like, "You're supposed to be here an hour ago," and no matter what I said, he fought me. And
And
that
that happens. That
mentally,
happens. That
I,
happens.
I was like, "You're not supposed to be this way to me."
Do you know who I am, sir? I am the Glass Monkey. Do you know who I am, sir?
That's
Oh,
awesome.
love it. I love the boys. The boys are
The
amazing.
boys, they
I
just
love
broke
the
a picture
boys.
frame. It's okay.
Hey,
So anyway,
listen, when I was younger, I threw my brother through a big screen TV. So this was in the late
yeah.
80s, early 90s. And so those big, huge things. So they broke a picture frame. That's nothing. But go ahead, Brad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I had to win my proctor over just to listen to what I wanted before he felt like writing, and that is what did come pretty naturally to me. Is I just kind of started doing my little jokey jokes and things and trying to get on his good side. I said, it looks like did you just have the windshield replaced? Because there was some urethane on the door. And he was like, yeah, those guys weren't any good either. And, and I was like, let me just wipe this off. Look how fast this comes off. He's like, well, that's pretty cool.
Was that
No,
Kyson?
no. Kyson wasn't the proctor. Kyson was the proctor of someone else, but he was busting a sea walk right before, and I pointed at him, and I was like, man, he was sea walking on the competition for it, and he had this fit. He had this uncle fit going on too. He had his penny loafers on and stuff. Yeah. So, but Kyson's another one. He messaged me and was like, hey, send me a monkey. So the belligerent proctor, and instead of just doing something to the repair or the replacement, instead of working on doing something to the car, it seems to me like the judges are starting to work in those real world stuff. Like, customers will be mad. You will mess up. You will not call them when you were supposed to, and they will be mad. And maybe you got to win them over before you can even start your routine.
And that can cost you points.
It can.
And
so
if that costs you points, that costs you a chance. It's that gold.
It's very creative.
Yeah, that is very creative.
And then, but I worked I improved the morale of that situation to such a point that I was doing later in the presentation later on. He just asked me out of the blue, do you like fishing? I was like, are we fishing? I was like, are we fishing buddies now, man? He's like, absolutely. I was like, okay.
Absolutely. Really. So Bradley, that's I thank you guys for pointing out those hiccups in those real world scenarios, because you're going to have interviews over the next few weeks and the next few months, and it's going to be kind of the same old what did you take to win, kind of how do you feel? So but I really want everybody who watches this to understand that this is pretty real scenarios that you have. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about camaraderie a little bit, and we're going to ask you guys each beautiful moments. And Kenneth, you were talking about a beautiful moment before we started where every single one of the repair finalists huddled up, and they were just comrades in this war together, hoping each other succeeds and having a moment together. Basically, they held a prayer, and I thought that was such a beautiful moment for our industry to show that, yeah, we're competitors, yeah, we're independents, yeah, we compete against each other, but you know what? Doesn't mean that we have to dislike each other. So I'm going to start with Kenneth, go Raul, and finish with Bradley. besides that, what was the beautiful moment of the week for you?
I think, yeah, the circling up, the praying, just, I got to go to dinner with a bunch of guys. And one of the beautiful things too was like at dinner, there was folks from, gosh, Taiwan, Belarus, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. There was the Korean folks that were there. I mean, really people from all over the world. So seeing all these different cultures coming together and talking to each other and being friendly with each other, and we've got this, common auto glass, right? That we all love, and we're all striving and pushing for it to be excellent. That was really cool seeing everybody get together. But then also, even when the Final Four, so like for the repair, the Final Four came in and they huddled up and they were praying. And there were those of us that were in the competition that didn't make the Final Four. They were still right there with them, like, hey, man, you got this. Let's go. Let's stay focused. And I didn't just go to Bradley because Bradley's my boy. I went to, all four of them. And then they all four were telling each other. So it was just cool, man. It was just a ton of love, a ton of, and even then at the closing ceremonies, like Bradley won.
Oh,
I think James, you about knocked him over on the stage. There's so much, dude. There's just so much love and
I know,
so
that was
much
fun.
like joy, and I know it's a weight off of Bradley's shoulders to win that, but for everybody, like it was like pulling for my favorite. It was like the Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals. Like, oh, I just want them to win so bad. So it was like that with Bradley, and
Appreciate
he
that.
got it done. And the same thing with Raul and the
Oh
replacement.
yeah.
Nothing against anybody else, but Raul's the sweetest guy you'll ever meet. So it's like,
Mhm.
I'm Team Raul, we got to get this. So
Yeah.
it's just awesome, man. There's just a lot of love and a lot of camaraderie, very tight brotherhood. And there's some ladies around too that are very that have earned a ton of respect and gotten a ton of love as well.
Definitely.
So it's pretty cool.
so what about you, Raul? What was your beautiful moment?
My beautiful moment was the whole Auto Glass Week experience again. Like, I was trying to share this with every single person that was there to compete with whatever competitions, letting them know, like, we're already all the best. Showing up, competing, like, other people are always going to say something, oh, it's not real life or whatever. Dude, show up, you know what I mean? And you'll see, like, the brotherhood, like, I was so excited to see you guys, like, throughout the whole year. I got to see you guys. We support each other. We're just one big, giant Auto Glass Week family, you know what I mean? In
Definitely.
the industry. It's like the conversations we have together, you can't have that with other people. Like, they just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it was just a beautiful moment having just to talk with others and see other people that are like you know what I mean? And just giving each other the support, man. That was very special. But knowing the fact that my brother was able to go this year made me happy because, we grew up in the industry where, we grew up poor. It's just the truth. We grew up pretty poor. And auto glass is what we had. You know what I mean? We had a white little Toyota pickup truck. We went to work, brought, that put food on the table for us. And yeah, like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but this was actually my 30 years of doing automotive glass replacements with my dad. So I
Dude.
started when I was
That's
7 years old.
incredible. That's
Yeah, I started
amazing.
when I was 7 with him, and it
Wow.
was nice to be able to take the trophy home and give it to my pops. And
Oh,
he was happy. So yeah.
dude. Was that a tear? Was that a tear moment, brother? Was that a tear?
My
Like,
dad has a lot of pride. He was just like, good job, good job.
yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
it. But
Well,
I was like,
it's a
man,
different, it's a
yeah,
generation. It's a generation
Mhm.
that's a different generation. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
dude. Hey, I didn't get to enjoy those Saturday morning cartoons. Even if I was like, hey, go get me the paper towels, go get me the glue, go get me the glue gun, go get me this. I was like, all right, cool, running around like crazy. And yeah,
yeah,
so this was a special one for me. So it was nice.
yeah,
See, all
Awesome.
that shows that is what you came from, dude. It
yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
So Bradley,
Yeah.
what was your beautiful moment from Auto Glass Week that you can think of?
Other than looking at the face cards of the champions this year, I mean, this is a very handsome ticket this year. It's a very handsome face card. Anyway, so my beautiful moment was after I'd won and you knocked me over, which you know how long I've been chasing this, James. I needed you to knock me over so I could just hide the initial crack of my face. You let me do that. I went right into your shoulder with that. And then I just proceeded to ball all over the stage. But
Yeah.
I won't do that today. But after that, when we got off stage, it was jacket after jacket after jacket after jacket after jacket. And when I say jacket, everyone knows what I mean. It's like we've started a tradition where the champ of the AGTO gets a jacket, and they're starting to stand out a little bit. And so you're like, oh, there's a jacket. You can go up to a jacket and probably ask them anything, and they'll help you.
Yes.
Really, I don't know. I don't. Whoever's got that jacket, every one of them will help you if you ask them. And if they don't have a jacket, there's probably maybe they don't need one.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't handle that burden of championship, because it's got a burden to it, man. I mean, because people look to you now. It's not,
I don't know about that. But
Well, I'm just saying though. Anyway, that it was jacket after jacket coming up to me. I'm like, dude, I just won a chip repair contest, dude. Like, what are y'all doing over here? I was like, this is just windshield repair. I'm going to go be a baby, and then I'll be with y'all in a year or two. Then y'all can come. But after the jackets, in the middle of them almost, they parted, and then there was a little baby Gia Martin there.
nah.
Gia was standing in line with the jackets,
Yeah.
and I had to look down, and there she was, and she had these wide eyes, and she was like this.
Yes. Gia.
And I was like, and this had already been a week without my boys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my my oldest is 12, and it was a hard week for him, and it sucked not to be right there with him. But I had to do this. So yeah, that's the Gia Martin broke me, dude. I was like, thank you. And then, of course they whisked you off to do the media stuff, but that absolutely cracked me.
Well, I had two, other than the whole week was pretty good for me, with all the scenarios. But when we're talking about the competitions, I had two myself. And one was Jason Martin showing up with everybody's jackets. Like I presented the pink jacket after my winning to Jorge. Jorge got to present it to Raul, but Jason Martin showed up with it because he was calling us throughout the year, asking what our favorite colors were, which it's easy for me, but asking everybody what their favorite color was. Well, then the first night of the competition, we all went up to his hotel room, and he gave all of us that he could get a hold of, because there were some champions he couldn't get a hold of that weren't showing up, these jackets that he had made for us. So Jason Martin, that was beautiful. I appreciate you for that. Thank you for running with it, and thank you for doing everything because that was just amazing.
Absolutely.
And then the second moment was they wouldn't let me know ahead of time who the winners were because they wanted my real live reaction on the stage. And getting to announce you two and just being real with the emotion, not knowing it, and being able to compose myself. Yes, I'm weird. Yes, I'm silly, but I was able to fully embrace the moment with you, Kenneth. I just was able to embrace the moment with everybody, and it was so. It was just those were the two beautiful moments for me when it comes to competing at Autoglass Week, and I just want to thank you guys for accepting me because I get it. I'm a lot and I'm hard to handle, but it's just thank you all for accepting me. So, but we're running down to 38 minutes. I wanted to keep it short for everyone just because I want to get it out there and I want it to be digested.
Sure.
But I'm going to start with Bradley this time. Bradley, Raul, finish with you, Kenneth.
Sure.
And let's just one tip for anybody who wants to compete, and then how you feel, and say your goodbyes.
Okay. One tip for everybody to compete. Okay, so gold. This is what I meant to say on stage. Is gold. I remember when I first started, I had gold as a destination. It's just not that. After getting it placed around my neck and interacting with the industry afterwards, I realized gold is just a path. And some of you are probably already on the gold path. It's just a timing. That's it. Second is, I want to give thanks to God. I feel that He alone gave us the skills to do this. And I'm very thankful. And then my goodbyes is just stay cool and, cure under pressure.
Yeah. Hey,
That's my advice. Cure under pressure.
Yeah. Cheers, Raul.
Alrighty, so my tip is I already gave it so early on, but go to my TikTok, watch the video I just posted, make sure you guys take notes, study, and I really am hoping to see a very epic Autoglass Week in 2026.
Nice.
You guys saw the video, right? You saw the video, James?
Not yet. I don't think I did.
Yeah, showed my whole pack out system, my
Oh,
tool,
and
paperwork.
it's basically throwing down the gauntlet. Show up and show out because this is what it takes. Basically, it's exactly what it is. It is it literally is a mic drop after the devastation and everything he did this year with the gold and the way he took it. And this was like, oh yeah, you want to see what it takes? Here it is. Now step up, fool.
I'll do it. I'll do that to you, Raul. Thanks for giving me the idea. It's on.
So apart from that, if I can share like a tip is be bold, be confident, be yourself, just be yourself truly. Don't be someone that you're not. Don't try anything last minute that would be different. Don't try to impress anyone. Just be yourself. Second, I would just want to give thanks to God. And then also my wife, it was her birthday. So I brought home a trophy for her on her birthday. So that was fun. And gosh, what was the last one that you said, James? I'm so sorry.
I don't
Say your
even remember.
goodbyes. Say goodbye.
Say your goodbye.
Yeah.
Say your goodbye to
Yeah. So my goodbyes is, I will never probably do the competition again for the replacement, but I definitely want to try the next 3 competitions next year. So I think that's going to be fun. So
nice.
So yeah.
All right, Kenneth, your turn, sir.
Yeah, man. Same thing as these guys. All glory to God, man. Every skill that I have, the drive that I have, the drive that sounds like that we all have, the love for people, all none of it's me. So I just praise God for that. So blessed to be in this industry, blessed to be able to hang out with you guys. Iron sharpens iron. Learn from you guys, and love seeing you guys. Very much looking forward to next year. One tip that I would give is, especially for the big competitions, the replacement, the repair, start preparing now. Don't wait until, August of next year to get a packet and start looking at it. Really start looking at that.
Okay.
If you can
Sorry
get
to interrupt, but so you're saying not to wait 2 weeks before the competition?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, don't land in Tahoe, California 3 days before the competition and open up the packet and see that you didn't bring a bunch of stuff you're supposed to bring. So, yeah, start preparing and start making whatever that competition is, an everyday part of your routine. And so, yeah, get ahead of it. Seek out those who have come before you, guys like Bradley, guys like James, guys like Raul, for wisdom. Most of us, like I said, we love people and we just want to see the industry as a whole get better. I don't think anybody minds, especially Raul just said, look, I'll show you everything I got. There's no secrets. This is what I brought. This is what I did. May the best man win. So, and other than that, man, just I'm not good at reaching out, but hope to talk to everybody through the year. I know I'll talk to Bradley, and gonna try to reach out to Raul more. And Raul and I are kind of quiet online in some of the groups we're in. But James, it's been awesome getting to know you, man. I've known who you are. Obviously, I've followed for a while with like a lot of guys. It was great getting to meet a lot of guys this year. And just can't wait to see everybody in San Antonio next year. So it's gonna be awesome.
Can't wait to see everybody in San Antonio. Those are great tips from great champions.
It'll be a great show.
I was honored to host this show with you guys, and thank you for taking the time for me, and just thanks for being my friend.
You got it, bud.
Thank you.